Hey, 2nd through 5th grade leaders. This week we're still talking about grit, which is all about refusing to give up when life gets hard. And so this week, as we continue that, we're still looking at that, let us not become tired of doing good, for at the right time we will gather the crop if we don't give up. That's our memory verse. And then hold on because God is in control is our bottom line for today. So holding on because we know that God is working on something different. God is in control of no matter what happens. So this first activity goes with that. And this first one is a warm-up activity. They're just going to draw something that they're not in control of, okay? And so it can be anything from maybe doing their chores to what color their parents' car is or what they had for dinner last night, right? Like, so a lot of those things are not in our control because someone else is doing it or something else is happening. There's other things happening around us, right? And then you can go ahead and give them a different piece of paper or whatever and some markers and then draw something that they are in control of, right? And so it could be their attitudes or what they want to eat for snack or whatever it may be, right? And so just give them something. This is a situation where I am in control and not in control to get our minds working on that control part of it, okay? And then this next one, have them pair up with each other. And what they're gonna do is you're gonna call out a body part like head, shoulders, knees, toes, that kind of thing. And basically when one of the two pairs messes up, then they get to sit down for that round, okay? And then the pair that was, or the person that was still standing will get to find another person that is still in the game and then just keep going. And basically as you do it, make it a little bit faster every time so that it's harder for them to keep up with what they're doing in the motions and whatnot. But that's, again, about just being in control of our bodies, right? And so like as we're listening, we're trying to control what part of the body that that is being asked of us to hit and stuff like that. So anyway, that'll be a fun one. Then we're going to learn about the Bible story. And the Bible story for this week is them crossing the Red Sea, the Israelites crossing the Red Sea. And so how God was in control, right? And so the big part of this is like God is in control no matter what. And so God was watching over the Israelites. God can do anything. God can make the impossible possible. Like he's really good at doing that kind of thing. And so all of that to say, even when things feel out of control, we know that God is in control. And so even though it looked hopeless when the Israelites got to the sea and the waves are rushing and the Egyptian army is right behind them trying to kill them, God was in control. And so all of that will be in our Bible story today. And then have them go over the Bible stories together, of course, in your Bibles. And so definitely do that when you go back into small group time. And then you're going to have some carabiners that you get to make. And so you'll basically have all of these little different circles. And what they're going to do is going to put these in order, okay? And so we haven't decided if we're going to have those all pre-cut out or if we're going to just hand you guys the papers and then they'll cut them out. But either way, go ahead and have each kid get a whole set, which will be all 10 of these little circles. And then they're going to try to put them in order, okay? And there's not really any descriptions or anything that go along with them. So just see if they can get close to putting them in order to what happened in the story and the sequence that it happened in the story. And then you have, of course, the cheat sheet on your sheet that tells you the actual order of the story, okay? And then as you go through that, they'll be able to actually make little carabiners or bracelets or whatever out of this, we'll have some of those little wires that can go through this. And so make sure that the holes are at least big enough to where they can poke those without, messing it up or whatever. But they go through that together. It'll be a really fun activity for them to use those pipe cleaners to make an actual chain out of it, okay? Then you have some really good discussion questions like what feels out of control or what are some ways that we can rely on God because he is in control, right? How do we notice that? And then this after video 2 activity is gonna be really good. You'll have some paper plates and some markers. And what they're gonna do is put something on their head, put one of the paper plates on their head, and then you'll have them try to draw something on the rim of the piece of paper. And so you can have them draw like actual words or pictures or whatever it may be. But the point is like it feels a little bit out of our control because we can't see it. And so even though we have control of our hands, we can't see the big picture of what's going on. And so that's what it's all about. It's about God sees the big picture, right? He knows what's going to happen. He knows what's happening in the future. And so when things feel out of control in our own lives, ask the questions of like, do you think it'll turn out better if we try to control them or if we just trust God, right? And then when the Israelites came across the sea, do you think that they could have taken control and swum across on their own? Which, that's an interesting question, right? If they tried, they would have definitely died because the river was very much rushing, right? It was going really fast. And instead they trusted God, right? And he got through it his way. And so there's some really good, especially the second paragraph on After Video 2, definitely go through that because it has some really good questions in there for you guys to work on together, okay? And then this memory verse activity, you'll have some pop rocks, okay? Now with these pop rocks, make sure you don't have any dairy or lactose allergies. And so those will be on the labels, again, in that little black lettering. And so look for that black lettering on the label. And if they do have any dairy allergies and they're not able to do this one, or you can do something totally different with this one and just work on the memory verse together. But as you do it, you can have them all put some pop rocks in their hands. So you can do that like out of the bag, and then they'll put them on their tongues. And then they're supposed to be able to try to say the memory verse with the pop rocks going on their tongues and their tongues kind of sticking out of their mouth. It'll be really entertaining and hilarious as they do it. But anyway, all of that, then go back to the prayer, then take those paper plates that they were working on earlier and go to a prayer time. And in this prayer time, just talk about things that are not in our control, but that we can give up to God and how we can trust him with those things no matter what's happening, right? Because God is in control if we allow him to be in control. Sometimes we take control and we're not supposed to have control of those things, right? Or sometimes we act like we are in control, but we're really not. And so giving God the authority in our life to have control over whatever he needs to have control over is a really healthy thing to practice. And so practice that through the prayer time of what are some things that we can give up our control to God instead. And that's it for this week, guys. Thank you guys so much for all that you guys do. I think this is going to be a really awesome week as we learn about control. I will see you guys soon.